She had loved David Bowie from the first moment she heard him. While British critics struggled with his early work, Mayer could see that he was trying to imagine a trajectory to follow. He reminded her of a tightrope walker. He kept trying and falling, but he kept trying. By the time his concerts came round, as part of the Ziggy Stardust Grand Tour, he was established as the only show in town, and Mayer was a devoted fan. She fobbed her parents off with an excuse that she was sleeping over with a friend. It wasn't exactly a lie. She was certainly with a friend, Lucy Stepchak, a cool teenage girl with Polish parents, two characteristics which helped her share Mayer's somehow unapproachable personality. They slept out overnight, picked at by boys who wanted to touch their skin and men who wanted to do much, much more. Even they, though, paused before Mayer. Her eyes gave them an understanding that it was one thing to commit a crime, and quite another to commit a sin. They got their tickets, and spinning another lie in the simple way a spider makes a living, they told both their parents that there was a sleepover at a new girl's house. In fact, they were hitching down to Kent. Even when she looked back on it, the fact didn't seem dangerous at all. Society became increasingly spooked by boogeymen at the cinema and the occasional salacious rape and murder of an innocent to think too hard about the facts. Mary and Lucy were safer walking through the woods on their way to the main road than they were once they were driving along with a middle-aged man called Ian. He was a chirpy chap and wanted someone to look at and some young flesh to ogle in an everyday way. May was just learning how to flirt, whereas it came naturally for Lucy. Arriving at the concert hall down in Kent was something like approaching heaven. The crowd was thickening into strong knots of bodies, pushing and swaying and sweating with anticipation. Inside was closer still and tighter and hotter, so much louder. The noise of nervous conversation ahead of your hero coming onto stage was like machine gun fire. Maya soaked up the sound, and it seemed enough until the first guitar chord struck, and she had to close her eyes and almost swoon. The sound was magical. His voice was wrecked from so much hard work, and it didn't matter. He was Ziggy Stardust, and Ziggy was the Naz. The songs blended together, and for a 13-year-old girl right on the cusp of puberty, Ziggy Stardust was as near to a demigod as anything Maya had ever met. All the tired pretensions of her father and his kind seemed so passé. Bowie made himself disappear in order to let his life be run by Ziggy, and Mayer understood just how critical that sacrifice was. Anything less would just have been playing. And by doing what he was calling for a response from the audience. He got it. The boys catapulted their bodies into movement, a frenzy of early adolescence, and, for the older men, fertility dance. The girls and women picked up on the echoes of the sonic boom. Each and every one had a choice that night to go home with a partner or go home alone. The dark and the flashes from the stage created a half-life, and Maya grew by the minute. She had already started to develop breasts and had felt the pain of her first period just 2 months earlier. Now she could be mistaken for a woman, or at least a girl old enough to make choices for herself. Boys started to notice her, and men too. She saw that and understood. She was dancing and they were studying her. Given the chance, they'd have come right up and sniffed her. She danced faster and made her body a series of curves and bends. For the rest of her life, May was galled by the critics, who said that Bowie never topped those performances in those years. It seemed to her just the same as saying that Jesus Christ never eclipsed the crucifixion and the resurrection. They missed the moment, and they missed the point.